It's no secret that figurative painting today often relies on photography. Using lenses helps build up a painting, and that may have even had some antecedents in the form of the camera obscura in the Renaissance. That's a big box with a lens down one end and a live screen down the other, a camera before the age of photosensitive paper. Believing that this expedient was used by Renaissance and Baroque painters was popularised by David Hockney's secret knowledge, rediscovering the techniques of the old masters. It suggests that since the Renaissance, artists have used lenses and mirrors to create their illusions. Now, Hockney argues that Renaissance artists, having access to the precursors of the camera, didn't always work directly from life, but skipped some of the hard bits by tracing and copying. Hockney gives examples of effects that he asserts derive from optics, but there isn't a single case from the Renaissance to Baroque that isn't better explained through reasons other than those that he attributes to optics. Pictures, according to Hockney, are of three kinds. First, they follow perspective systems to an infallible geometric order. Second, they can be wrought by eyeballing the motif, as in Cézanne, where the organic signs of tussle and mistake are confessed in the painterly gesture. And third, they can be made by looking through lenses, which obviate the mathematical rigours of the first and the chaotic struggle of the second. This method is what Hockney calls optics. Armed with this falsely reductive taxonomy of only three options, Hockney imputes optics to any painting that's neither conspicuously eyeballed nor geometrically rigid. It's like a caricature of art history. It neglects a fourth way of working, and there are others like invention and memory, which artists have been able to demonstrate even to the present day, namely measuring with their eyes. I personally know painters able to look at a complicated motif, like a person lying on a Persian carpet, and drawing or painting it from life with considerable accuracy. And indeed, I've sat for a pin-sharp portrait made by Geoffrey Dupre using this method. No lenses, no perspectival grids are involved, but just the drawing skill of an artist with motile eyes. Perspectival inconsistencies may or may not be present, and the painted calibre may or may not reveal eyeballing. Hockney begins by reducing all possibilities of picture making to an artificially convenient number, and then disastrously collapses or denies the more common sense perceptual methods that would make an alternative to the three that he enumerates. And on perceiving some indistinct rendering in a Vermeer, some scrutineers are all too ready to jump to the conclusion this must be attributed to a lens of shallow depth of field, which thus gets the motif out of focus. It's as if there's no poetry or mood in a painting. Imagine a painter doing a masterpiece in this lugubrious chamber without enough light to see the palette, but being true to a fault of the machine. The poor painter has to stay in the box for maybe a month, while dozens of layers in oil medium dry over days at a time. The camera obscura requires powerful light on the motif, preferably direct sunlight. Hockney acknowledges this, but claims that the old masters also used strong light. But none of his examples, nor any that I know of, demonstrates direct sunlight, which only entered painting in the industrial period. Baroque paintings have directional light proceeding from a window at a gentle lateral angle. There's no strong light. For a representational painter to confuse soft directional light with sunlight is strange and I fear tendentious. Meanwhile, these old master painters, who must have been so stupid that they couldn't focus a lens differentially, were nevertheless clever enough to rectify all the distortions of plumb line that lenses produce, a notorious quality of the photographic image. Now, pre-industrial pictures don't reveal curved lintels, columns or door jambs. So if they used a camera, which assuredly induces those distortions, they must have set out against the machine systematically to eliminate them. This would have been a considerable labour. First to use a device, knowingly to enter into an error, and then to spend time correcting it throughout the picture. The idea of a camera obscura being any assistance whatsoever to an artist of Vermeer's calibre is preposterous. Artists of the lowest rank, like Vermeer's compatriots in Rome, had exemplary drawing skills. The least adept of them would still have had no need of shortcuts, especially when the shortcuts are actually the long way around. To imagine that an artist of the highest talent would have found these clumsy resources useful is part of a quaint fable of recent times. It's a marketable fable because it appeals to our wishful thinking. You don't need drawing skills. Not even the old masters relied on drawing skills. Why? They used optics. This delusional fiction easily attracts a gullible following because no one wants to think that we're inferior to artists of the past. The fiction has appeal to our generation because it supports technological determinism, as if all things of wonder and insight can be attributable to machines and inventions. And we, after another 400 years, naturally have superior machines and inventions, and they're simply prefigured ours. Our tools that then follows make theirs obsolete. This implicitly takes care of the achievements of old art, as if old art's merely a step on the way to much more sophisticated things that we can do today. Well, it's a mistake with its origins in conceit. Now our challenge is to put old paintings back into perspective.